Hi everyone, this is Jared, AC7WH, Backyard Ham Radio. And I am featuring an antenna for POTA use or portable use that is for one of my favorite bands. It is the 17 meter band. So here is that familiar un that I use. And here is my 17 meter antenna wire. And it's hard to see from this angle, but that POTA mast, the 33-foot heavy-duty mast, it's just at a nice length to work with this 17-meter quarter wavelength antenna wire. Very simple, very easy, super lightweight with the carbon fiber. And I've got my two radials counterpoise wires here. Now if you've seen my previous videos, you've seen this general setup multiple times before. But this time I'm going to see what happens with everything tuned up just about perfectly for the 17 meter band. All right, let's go ahead and pause and we'll see what happens next. All right, I'm inside the ham shack now. That's looking out at that antenna from earlier. Again, I've got my RF chokes there. And of course, I've got the un out there and multiple RF chokes over here. But for now, I've got things run into my Rig Expert. So let's go ahead and power this on. Okay. Let's go ahead and run the SWR chart. Let's see what happens. I'm going to go back here a little ways so that I'm covering all the amateur bands, the main ones anyhow, up to the 10 meter band or so. And here goes. All right. So the minimum SWR is at 17,560. So a little bit on the lower side, but tunable. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So there's our 17 meter band. So if we're about in the middle of it there, let's see what happens. All right, so you can see it's not bad. I could, if I wanted to, trim off the antenna a little bit. You can always take wire away, but adding it is a little trickier, obviously. But let's zoom back out again. Now let's do another run here. So you can see it dips down just before that band. The nice thing is, with this Palstar HF Auto Tuner, that should be no problem to get that tuned right up. And let's go ahead and zoom out. Let's take another quick look at all the bands. Alrighty, it starts to dip slightly again. Around, it looks like the maybe 12 meter band. Let's go ahead and X out of that spot, and let's go ahead and try the reactance chart. So we've got some resonance there at about 15,684. Let's see if there's any others. You have 5474, 19024. So just like before, I've seen multiple resonance points when I do this. All right, so that's pretty cool. I like the fact that I'm getting a good dip down in here with the SWR, very close to the band that I was shooting for. All right, wish me well. I'm going to try to make some contacts today. 73.